Good morning, good morning, good morning, and thank you for joining me today. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, and today is Teacher Appreciation Day. And I want to thank all of our teachers at all levels in public, private, and parochial schools for all that they have done and they continue to do, and how they have worked under the most challenging of situations for the past year. So if you see a teacher somewhere, thank them. And on behalf of the city of Savannah, we thank them for their loyalty and dedication toward the young and the young at heart. Teachers always teach. Even when they're retired, they're still teaching. So we thank them for that. Everyone can think of a teacher somewhere, somehow, that influenced their lives. As a matter of fact, for me, the teachers that meant the most to me were teachers I hated the most growing up. I remember the teachers let me have my way. I've forgotten their names, honestly. But the teachers who called my mother the most, who I said I was going to come beat up when I grew up, all of those folks, I remember their names. And those were the ones that had the biggest impact on me. This month is also Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's a time to raise awareness of those living with mental or behavioral health issues and help reduce the stigma that so many experience. Our local hospitals and health systems play an important role in providing behavioral health care and helping patients find resources available in their community. Mental health struggles are common and, most importantly, treatable. And so we lift up our mental health service providers who are willing and waiting to help you. If you need help, go ahead and get the help. This was also another deadly weekend in our city, as 2 families have been victimized and at least 2 murderers are on our streets. Gun violence involving people who are familiar with each other continues to be an issue not only in Savannah, but across the country. And while the Savannah Police Department is performing above the national average in solving these crimes, I think that we can all agree that we need to work in order to make sure that these horrible events do not happen in the first place. On Friday, I will hold another press conference here to introduce Savannah's newest and probably most effective crime fighters. And I look forward to enlisting them in a very coordinated, specific, and tangible way as the hot summer months approach. After reviewing the CDC recommendations last week and speaking with our local health epidemiologists and infectious diseases professionals this week, I will be extending Savannah's mask mandate through and including May the 31st, 2021. The reasons for this extension are scientific, mathematical, and specific to Savannah. Number 1, with a community transmission index of 127, we are still above the state threshold of 100, meaning that Savannah is still experiencing what is considered significant community spread. Secondly, with approximately 34% of our citizens with at least 1 dose of the vaccine, and 28% of our citizens fully vaccinated. When you look at the other side of that equation, that means that 66% of our citizens have not had at least 1 dose, and 72% of our citizens are not fully vaccinated, meaning that we are nowhere close to a herd immunity situation. And with hot weather on the way, with a record number of guests in our city, we have no reasonable or reliable way to determine who is fully vaccinated and who is not. We've also experienced a small uptick in hospitalizations. There are currently 7 patients at Candler, 13 at St. Joseph's, and 7 at Memorial Health. So, COVID is still actively living among us, and we must continue to be safe. So you will continue to see me wearing a mask, wearing 2 masks most of the time. And I'll ask our citizens to continue to do the same. I know that it's difficult, I know it's uncomfortable, but I also know that it's necessary. I will also ask our business partners to continue to require masks in their businesses to keep their employees and their customers safe. Savannah City employees who've been working remotely over the last year will start returning to city workplaces the week of May the 24th. And methodical phased-in reopening of city facilities and programs to the public will begin on June the 1st. Employees will continue to wear masks, and they will continue to socially distance themselves from colleagues and customers. Certain facilities will continue to require temperature checks to enter, and reduced capacity limits will be enforced. Registration for 2021 weekly youth summer camp opens today. The city will offer summer enrichment, arts and recreation, and athletic camps from June the 7th to July the 30th. For more information about these enrichment camps, you can visit savannahga.gov/enrichment, savannahga.gov/enrichment, or call 912-651-4211, 912-651-4211, or 912-525-2166, 912-525-2166. And for more information about arts camps, visit savannahga.gov/art camp, savannahga.gov/art camp, or 912-651-6783. For more information about recreation athletics camps, visit savannahga.gov/rec camp, RECCAMP, or call 912-351-3841, 912-351-3841. Camps will follow COVID-19 guidelines. Camp sizes have been reduced, and health and safety protocols will be followed, including daily temperature checks, health screenings, social distancing, hand washing and sanitizing, and face masks and coverings will be required. Thanks to COVID vaccines being widely available, we are slowly seeing a return to normalcy, although admittedly not as fast or not as significant as we would like. We continue to help make vaccines available to Savannians with 3 mass vaccination sites in different areas of our city. The site, the Savannah Civic Center downtown, is open on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The vaccination clinic at the Georgia Southern Armstrong campus is open from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's the Armstrong Center, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the drive-through site at the Gulfstream campus is open Tuesday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this site is given a single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine and second doses of the Pfizer vaccine only. The Georgia Emergency Management Agency has announced plans to close the state's 8 mass vaccination sites, including the one at Gulfstream, on May the 21st. So we're just a little under 3 weeks away. The vaccines only work if people get them. And so demand at our 2 walk-up clinics downtown and on the south side has been extremely low. And we want everybody, we need everybody, they need to get the facts and get their vax. So if you've been vaccinated, as I have, and you know of someone who has not, talk to them about your experience. And I will tell you, the first question I ask someone after I say hello is, have you been vaccinated? I'm sharing why I got my COVID shot, and I want to encourage people to do the same. To make an appointment at Savannah's mass vaccination site or at a COVID Health District location, visit covidvax311.com, covidvaxdial311.com. Residents can also use the City 311 system to get information about the COVID-19 vaccines and connect with local vaccine sites, including getting help making an appointment. The Housing Savannah Task Force continues to request your feedback. Over the last several months, the group has developed 5 strategies and 40 action items to help address Savannah's housing affordability challenges. You can learn more about Housing Savannah's suggestions and take a brief survey at savannahga.gov/housing Savannah, savannahga.gov/housing Savannah. The deadline to complete the survey is May the 23rd. If you're looking for a job and you want to help build a new Savannah arena, and I say this every week, head to the city's Economic Development Department and WorkSource Coastal that have centralized services at the arena site. The office is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're interested in a job and you cannot go to the arena site to apply, you can call WorkSource Coastal directly at 912-659-3555. 912-659-3555. Work is happening inside, outside, and underground at the arena site as crews continue to keep this project on time and on budget. Savannah's first class of the Construction Ready program starts on May the 17th. You can register online at constructionready.org/new career. constructionready.org/new career. This free 20-day construction education class will teach needed skills to begin a construction career, provide trainees with required credentials, and offer job placement at the end of the program. Today, I will be welcoming Senator John Ossoff back to Savannah. We have a busy day. We will be touring the Georgia Ports Authority, and this evening we will be at Savannah State University for a town hall with students. This weekend, we will welcome Senator Dr. Raphael Warnock back to Savannah as he delivers the commencement address, two commencement addresses at Savannah State University. And so we're glad that this week Savannah is at the center of our Georgia senatorial universe, and I think that's very, very important. I extend my congratulations to the Savannah State University and Georgia Southern University's classes of 2021 and their families. Certainly, commencement is not an end, but it's a beginning, and we welcome them to their brand new beginnings. And so we're very happy for them and for their achievements. Finally, this weekend is Mother's Day, and I wish every mother, grandmother, godmother, auntie, big mama, mama and them, whether by birth or by love, an incredibly happy Mother's Day. And of course, I wish the love of my life, Cynthia Johnson, a very happy Mother's Day, and her son will be home to see her soon. So that ends my prepared remarks, and I'll answer any questions you may have. None? Thank you very much. Y'all have a good one. You're gonna break our microphone, Alex?
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
So my first question is, do you have any updates on the in-depth archaeological study for the Union Time?
I do not, but then I would not expect to. I know that the process has begun, and so at the end of the day, we're just to get the findings. So this is a process that the city manager undertakes, and so he'll handle, whatever's involved in doing that. I know that involves not only reviewing maps and records, but also some form of archaeological process. So I just expect to hear for it when it's complete and what the findings are.
So at this point, timeline is sort of indefinite for the actual study?
It's indefinite?
Do you know what the timeline is right now?
No, I would envision it shouldn't take long. I thought maybe 60 to 90 days at the most. I mean, it shouldn't take very long to do it. So we haven't spoken specifically about it, other than I know that process has started.
And you kind of started the press conference talking about gun violence. I know
Yes.
you spoke a little bit about it over the weekend. The press are coming up on Friday. What can you tell us about the gun violence initiative? What should we expect?
Well, I think that when you have complex problems, you have to get back to the basics. And so I was led to enact and deputize, if you will, some crime fighters that will help us, and I think in a very unique way, in a very unique time. It's difficult being As the chief knows, being at the hospital or being at a scene with family that feels the grief of losing somebody. I make it a point to be there because it's important that people know that this is not, it should never become ordinary. It shouldn't be another day in Savannah. And we don't want other mothers to feel that type of pain. And so in this time, particularly when the law works against us, and I'm talking about the guns everywhere, you know, guns, they work against us. To me, it makes it very difficult for our law enforcement officers in a variety of ways. Then we have to use some unconventional methods and models to be able to stop this from happening. We know that we have a good police force. We know that we have officers on beats across the city. But we also know that when you look at the post-mortem, if you will, of the incidents that happen in our community is from people who know each other. They know each other, they have some sort of relationship with each other, they have some beef with each other. And then the beef becomes deadly when a gun is introduced. So to make it more specific, you and I are upset with each other. I shoot you. The chief of police is right there. He might get me, but I got you. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't stop the incident from happening. And so our police are in a very, very reactive mode. And you know, again, that's just, you know, that's human nature. And you can't police morality, you can't police human nature. So we have to enlist some new, unconventional ways to do this. So this is I think it's going to be a great opportunity, and we're going to see if we're going to be able. So if you notice, I'm not saying much about it at all, so that you'll come on Friday.
And when you say crime fighters, is this sort of another task force? Are you inviting more people to the table? Is that what this is?
Kind of, sort of, but I think these crime fighters have always been at the table. As a matter of fact, I think they set the table. So stay tuned. I know I was so unhelpful, right? I want you to come on Friday. All right.
Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Okay, so my question doesn't have anything to do with what you spoke about today, but
Gee, thanks.
I would like to know.
Changing gears, right?
Yes, changing gears. Are you aware that you won Best of Savannah, Best City Employee?
I did?
Yes, you won. Congratulations. So I didn't know if anybody had reached out to you or not.
No, I didn't know. I didn't even know I was up.
Yeah, so congratulations on that.
So you got an award for me, some prize, some money or something to eat?
It's not money. You'll be invited to the best of, and you'll get a plaque.
Wow.
So that's awesome. But now that you know, what would you like to say to the citizens that appreciate your service here as mayor?
What I would say is, I mean, to God be the glory. I say that because this has been a very trying year, personally and professionally, the most trying in my life. But I'll also tell you that, you know, when you see me standing here, I understand that they say Van Johnson because it's the faces they see, but I'm really representative of a 2,400 member team. You know, when the Super Bowl is won, everyone's going to the quarterback. But the fact is, the quarterback can't be very effective if his line is not protecting him, if the running back is not running, or if the defense is not holding the line. And so every day in the city of Savannah, some of these folks here with me, be it our public communication folks, Chief Mentor and Sergeant Gray, who's the new daddy, be it the city manager, Marty Johnston, is it at the city council, again, every single day, every single employee, no matter what department they work in, are making it happen every single day. And we don't pay them enough. I'm hoping to continue to make them feel valued, not only in pay, but in total compensation and working conditions. But, you know, we want to be more responsive. We want to be, and again, we're only a year and, 3 months into this, but I hope that we're getting better. But I accept it on behalf of Team Savannah. So, thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to get my lunch, dinner, or something? Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
My first question for you this morning, you talked earlier about extending the mask mandate. Obviously, May 31st, it's really not too far out from where we are right now. Do you have plans of extending it beyond that, or are you just sort of setting a short-term goal for right now? What's your plan on that?
Well, I think if you remember before, we were setting them in 2 and 3 month intervals. Now we're really, if you notice, it's much shorter. It'll be in 30-day intervals. My commitment to our health professionals and medical partners is that we'll have a similar conversation toward the end of the month. And again, it's just based off our numbers. People can quote numbers all day long, but I think that the most dire of all of them is the fact that, when we talk about how well we've done, I think the other side of it is how far we have to go. 66% of our citizens have not had 1 dose, and 72% of our residents are not fully vaccinated. So that's the issue. If herd immunity is 70%, and we're nowhere near herd immunity, and we have people coming from all over the world into Savannah, our hotels are being oversold, people are all in our streets, you've seen them, and they're coming from places that are still hot as it relates to that. So again, I would love to get rid of masks too, but I'm only going to do it when it's safe. And so we took the CDC's recommendation into consideration, and I think the issue with that was it did not take Georgia into mind, because in one case they're saying, well, you don't have to wear a mask outside if you're fully vaccinated, but we recommend when you're inside you wear a mask. Well, in Georgia, the businesses can decide for themselves whether to have masks or not. So essentially, if we get rid of the mask mandate, then essentially the masks really just go away. And again, our numbers are very clear. We're still at 127, significant community spread. We still have people going to the hospital because of COVID. I'm hoping people who don't like it will get mad enough at me to go get vaccinated. And they have till the 21st to make it happen.
And do you think because the city feels normal, we're getting back to that sense of normalcy, people are overlooking some of those numbers that you just noted about the fact that it is still spreading and that our vaccination numbers are relatively low?
Absolutely, absolutely. And hence my wearing a mask as someone who's fully vaccinated is symbolic to let people know, again, this is serious, it's still serious, and that we cannot take it lightly. And so as you look around people frolicking and having a good time, the reality is that younger people are being infected. I was at an event at the Landons a week and a half ago or so, and it was a bunch of people out there, all of them vaccinated, all of them. And so, our older, seasoned residents got it, they're being vaccinated, and I'm hanging around older folks. So I don't want us to take it lightly, and until it's safe to do so, the mask mandate stays.
And what is it going to take for you to eliminate the mask mandate?
A variety of things. Much more, higher vaccination rates. 2, a significant decrease in our community transmission index, so well below 100. 3, the advice from our local medical health epidemiologists, infectious disease professionals who would indicate that it's safe to do so.
And I know last week we kind of talked about you might need to take the next step in getting people vaccinated, such as going door to door or coming up with some sort. I know we have a new campaign, but something else. Has there been any progress in that? Have you been thinking about that? I
have. Again, the city of Savannah does not administer it, but I'm willing to work with whomever to help to try to make that happen. I think in the end, it's a personal conversation. And again, I think people think, oh, well, and people are waiting to see who drops dead. I mean, that's the reality. Well, I'm waiting to see, somebody told me that, I'm waiting to see how you're feeling. And I'm fine. And so, if we have to do a much more personalized approach, then I'm willing to do that. I just think that we have to do better in getting folks vaccinated.
Enough about COVID, let's switch gears. The violence from over the weekend, are you afraid that this is becoming the new normal in Savannah?
No. In Savannah, crime is not normal. Our crime, in fact, overall crime has gone down, and we don't want it to become the norm. Again, it's unacceptable, and we have to do what we can on our end to help, but on the other end, it's also personal decisions from people who should be making better decisions. So we do know that the summer comes, and we know that typically as it gets hotter, tempers get hotter, and we know that we have a spike in violent crime. So we know that, and we're preparing for that, and being engaged in that. I will start highlighting various cold cases for our community, just asking people to give information as they have it, because we recognize that some of these crimes have stalled because the detectives just hit a brick wall. And so the more information that we can get in terms of tips, sometimes from one tip you can solve 2 or 3 shootings or murders and things. So again, I've always been a proponent of enlisting and engaging our community and helping us get this done. I will not allow us to blame the police for the actions that people do, but I want them to be in a much better position to proactively get people who do not belong on our streets off our streets. So.
And yesterday I spoke with both Alderwoman Linda Wilder-Burning and Alderman Beecher Clegg, and they both said that we need some serious change here. We need to really come together. Do you think this is something that City Council might be addressing as a group to figure out really the answer to this problem?
Well, again, I think it's 2 things. I think the first thing is that we hire a city manager, we hire a police chief in terms of actually addressing public safety as it relates to that. The rest of it is absolutely community. And I think that we're all advocates and have been all advocates about helping and empowering people to make better decisions. We know that poverty and crime can run together, hence why our Housing Savannah Task Force is helping to alleviate one of the reasons people are poor. As relates to poverty, food availability, and a variety of things. Again, these are very, very big issues that if we can help solve those, we know education is an issue. Every week I come out and I talk about getting people into job opportunities, because we know people who have jobs don't have time to commit crime. So again, I think that we're pushing. I think we'll continue to push individually and collectively. But at the end of the day, it's an issue for all of us. We have to keep ourselves safe. Our communities didn't always rely on police to protect us. It was neighbors, it was aunties, it was mentors. I think we have to do a better job as it relates to supporting youth sports and recreation in our community. Again, we know that if kids are out engaged in sports, they don't have time to be out committing crime. So again, it's multifaceted, it's multi-level, but we're in for the long haul.
My last thing for you, for anyone that lives in the city of Savannah and they don't feel safe, what would you say to them?
If anybody
feels unsafe in the city of Savannah because of recent violence, what would you say to them?
Well, I would tell them, look at the statistics. Savannah remains a very safe city. Show me a place in the country that is a major urban center like Savannah that you don't have an uptick in violent crime. Again, for us, our crimes are not random, and when you look at who's doing them, it's people who have community, who have types of relationships with each other. And Chief will tell you, oftentimes it's about money, it's about drugs, or it's about a woman or a man. And so those are the parameters. And so if you are not engaged in those types of things, again, you really have no reason to worry. Again, we have one of the best police forces in the country. We take great pride that they are accredited nationally and by our state. They're on the streets every day. But at the end of the day, we have a personal responsibility for our safety. You know, we have to engage in safe behavior. We can't leave guns in cars and leave our cars unlocked and leave our pocketbooks open in our cars and expect that somebody's not going to walk by and take them. So, you know, we have to reduce the opportunities for opportunity crime. We have to secure firearms. We have to report them stolen. So I think there are things that we can do individually to help people to feel safe. But as for me, I feel safe, and I feel safe even when Sergeant Gray isn't around me. And he'll tell you, I duck him often because, you know, this is my city, and I just feel safe being here. And people should feel safe being here. I think people, if we were not a safe city, we wouldn't have all these people here. So, you know, the sky is not falling here in Savannah. We have our challenges. If you look across the country, I was looking at an article in Atlanta. There are 400 officers down, and there are, I think, over 50% increase in crime. Again, it's happening all over the country. It's not an excuse for us, but again, it's a challenge and an opportunity for us to be able to do better. We're hoping through some of our more innovative things, our behavioral health unit, our restoration of Savannah Impact, our end gun violence initiatives and things. Again, these will be ways to help us to help people to be successful, which should reduce crime. Thank you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. No phone?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it right now.
Okay.
We'll see. The task forces they just listed there, the end gun violence initiative as well, Savannah Impacts, all ways to address crime here in the city. And again, you're introducing another on Friday. Is there a concern that maybe all of those might start operating in silos individually and not be acting as one? And would it be more valuable to have one group handling all of this, do you think?
No, actually, our task force the task force chairs meet actually pretty regularly. Again, the wonderful thing about bringing people to the table is when you're all at the table, there's synergy at the table. So my task force chairs meet regularly because it's difficult to silo because so much overlaps. So for example, if you know, when you talk about housing, people who are reentering our community need housing. In terms of our race equity, they need housing. As it relates to people who are just as involved, they need housing. People in our Hispanic community need housing. So again, it overlaps. And so what we find is that there are various themes that various groups that our task force govern all overlap in some kind of way. When we talk about Savannahability, which is that deals with that. I mean, that's race, that's ethnic, that's age, that's geography. I mean, everyone has some types of challenges. If you live long enough, you'll be old and you need all of those things. So what we've found is great synergy between that. I have a few more task forces that will be introduced in the coming weeks, and I think they've done a marvelous job, because we've had citizens working on issues that are important to Savannah. And so I'm hoping by June, which is next month actually, to have them to give a report to the community of their work, and then we'll have a presser to have them all talk about the work that they're doing. But again, this is now a couple hundred of city residents working on issues that are important to them. And again, for us, we've historically done policy from the council, city level down. No, this is from people down. And so they're making the recommendations. I mean, I'm excited about all the work that they're doing and finding ways to help them to work together, because in the end, we're all in this together. So I think the task force actually break down silos. I know you didn't ask me all that, but...
City manager search.
Yes.
I asked you about that last week with the window for applications having closed that Monday. where are we with the search? Are you pleased with the number of applicants who submitted this round, and where do things move forward?
Well, to be truthful with you, we had a number of applications. I mean, it certainly was not as much as we had before. Admittedly, I've reached out to folks in the city management world, and to encourage people to apply. And I'll be absolutely frank with you. The city, the relationships among our council, has probably chased some people off. The fact is, when we're interviewing people, they're also interviewing us. And so the things that we do in social media, the things we do in the regular media, I mean, people can come and look and see how we behave. And then they ask a question, do I want to come and be a part of this? Do I want to uproot my family and do that? So, I think that's probably cost us opportunities for some good candidates. But, nonetheless, there are some good candidates in this pile. We've already met once about that. We'll meet again this week in various settings to discuss it further. We're on target right now to move forward. And again, I think this is the most important thing we have to do. Our city government deserves a permanent city manager, and it's my plan to deliver one.
You said the number of applicants. I'm just curious, compared to the last go-round, I think we had over 100 or so.
It was substantially less. I don't remember the number offhand, but it was substantially less. But again, for us, and being an HR professional, I will tell you that the number of applications is really not as important as the quality of the application. So, I will tell you that there are people that have a good city management experience, some that have good related experience, and I think it's just up to the council. I've taken some steps to try to ensure that this process is not as contentious as before, and so far it appears to be working.
Last thing for me, a few holidays coming up in Memorial Day, end of the month, July 4th also right around the corner. Do we know what, if any of those events will have city-sanctioned events?
Yes. Well, Memorial Day is within our mask mandate period. I don't anticipate at this point changing anything we currently have going on. 4th of July is something different. I think that we could reasonably expect to have fireworks if that's what sponsors want to do. Again, but it all depends on people being vaccinated. It all depends on our numbers. And so I keep an emergency order close by. And again, I don't want to do that. I want us to return to our new normal, but we can only get there if people are vaccinated. And so right now, the 4th of July in my mind is on, and we'll see how it goes. It all depends on our residents. For those who want to return back, I mean, we want you, and then people send me emails, you're messing us up. I'm like, then go get vaccinated. Be mad enough for me to go get vaccinated. And then, we can have this conversation. It's difficult to say, well, I'm not vaccinated, but I expect you to let us live our best lives. No, you can live your best life in your home and not affect the rest of us.
1 second.
I was waiting.
Okay. We're good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
I just wanted to know what time that press conference is on Friday.
I think we're shooting for 3 p.m. I have not talked with Nick yet. Nick has been on vacation. How dare he? But he's all suntanned and everything now, so we'll talk today. We'll get that out to you. And then we welcome Sergeant Billy Gray, the new dad again, back, so we're glad to have him. He looks real tired, and he's learning, so he's now a boy dad. So after all these girls, he's finally, he's hit the boy thing. So now I'll tell you this, and I shouldn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I can. His first picture, Chief, was Aaron in a police uniform. And I just said, you know what? Already recruiting for Savannah Police Department. So we're looking forward for him following his father's footsteps. So may God bless you all. May God continue to bless the city of Savannah. We'll see some of you at the ports, and the rest of you we'll see on Friday. Thank you. Put my mask on. And Chief Mentor is here and available.